All right, welcome to the party. Here we are in our beloved 3 Whiskey Bravo. We're flying today from Half Moon Bay, where we landed yesterday, to Eureka, California. To the northwestern tip of California near the Oregon border. There's 2 airports in this area. There's Eureka Airport, Murray Field, KEKA, Kilo Echo, Kilo Alpha, where we're flying today, and also Arcata, which is north of Murray Field a few miles. I've actually landed in real life at Arcata Airport, regional airport up there. Beautiful area, really a breathtaking part of California. Not a lot of people, not much in the way of cities, and today we've had a very rough ride from Half Moon Bay, just a few miles west of San Francisco, right on the coast. Coming up over the Cascades, it's been a lot of bouncy. Seems like it's mellowed out a little now that we're kind of over this part that we were flying, this ridge line, although we're still kind of along it. Anyway, we did experience some pretty dramatic turbulence. I guess I would describe it probably as moderate. We're flying at flight level 240, descending now to 16,000. Handling the ATC myself today. We had that, boy, that's pretty, look at that beach. Had that persistent bug that we've dealt with before, where, throttle back a little bit more here, where the, if there's no tower, move to the cliffside, I can almost feel like you can see the foam of the waves. Beautiful. Anyway, you know that bug that we've seen before where the taxi ribbon light stays on effectively, and we are still bouncing around. And even after you take off, it still floats around here on the screen saying that you're 1 mile from the takeoff position, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, and so forth. Obviously a bug. By disabling the taxi ribbon, somehow that makes it also impossible to delegate ATC to the AI. Take a look. You see this, AI control, manage radio comms. I have that on right now, and yet it's not. I'm having to do it myself. Anyway, not the end of the world. Battling a 55 knot headwind basically the entire trip up. Below 18,000 now, so we're told that the nearest altimeter is 290907 from the ForeFlight app, so we'll go ahead and set that. Here's 2992 right now, which is standard altimeter above 18,000. Set 290907. Then we'll press the B key as usual and see what happens. 29089, so not the same, not quite the same in sim today. Closing in on 16,000. This field, this airport we're landing at, Murray Field, is a small airport. No tower. The runway length is only 3,000 feet, 3,011 feet long, so a very short runway. The plan at this point is to land at runway 30 northwest, but there is actually a published non-precision approach for this airport into RNAV runway 12, obviously the opposite direction of the runway we're landing on. We're landing on runway 30. If we were landing the opposite direction, we'd be landing on runway 12. Just take 180 degrees off of 300 and you'll see why it says 12 for 120. Anyway, we're going to end up VFR, it's my guess. The weather's beautiful, so that helps. But a little tiny airport like this, there's not going to be any traffic, or at least not much in the way of air traffic that's going to complicate our lives. We're at 16,000 now. I'd like to hear further descent instruction. We'll see if we get it. Technically, we could go VFR now, because we're below 18,000 and the weather's perfect. I do see some clouds out there in the distance. But I think our airport's 58 nautical miles from us. We may end up in those clouds. That's a possibility. We're at 16,000 now, and I'm not hearing anything from ATC. Hopefully that changes here in a second. Holding 165. Still dealing with chop. But yeah, anyway, a tiny little runway, tiny little airport, which has its advantages and disadvantages. You know, there's not much in the way of published non-precision approaches. There's obviously no ILS. I never did get an update from ForeFlight as to a frequency to which I could tune for AWOS, Automated Weather Observation System. So that is what it is. I'm showing us 19 minutes from the airport now at our current airspeed, 55 nautical miles. Fortunately, the track that we're flying right now is very similar to the approach that we'll take. This stand by. 3415. There's Bravo, good day. 134.15 for
1
second.
Whiskey Bravo.
Oakland Center, this is Dire 3 Whiskey Bravo with you at 16,000.
Oakland Center, Denver, November, Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo, 16,000 feet.
Let's see if they tell us to descend or continue as planned.
November, Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo, Oakland Center, continue to upload as planned. Altimeter 29.900.
29.900 on the altimeter?
Whiskey Bravo, descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Okay, good. Clear down to 8,000. Acknowledge that. Down to 8,000. Dire 3 Whiskey Bravo.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, Denver, Tree Whiskey Bravo.
So well, hold on 1 second. 8,000 on the altitude selector. Mouse wheel drives me nuts. Okay. The airplane's bouncing around so much, it's hard to hold on to the buttons. 8,000, okay. Anyways, I was saying, boy, it's so pretty. Jeez. Wow. As I was saying, this doesn't show the actual airport proper, but it does show the runway orientation. So if you land in this direction, you're landing on runway 30. If you land in this direction, you're landing at runway 12. Obviously, 30 being 300 and the compass to basically northwest. So what I expect we'll do is probably continue this approach and either overfly the airport and then do a left base, or I don't see us doing a right, not a left base, but left traffic. I don't see us doing a right traffic just because of all this. But hey, that's the fun of this game. Let's see what happens. Descending down to 8,000 feet now. Our next waypoint is Ebbels, EBBLS. See that? We are 6 minutes 46 seconds from Ebbels. So we can shallow out our descent rate because we're descending. We're at 13,000 feet. Hold on.
Descend and maintain 3,400 feet. Expect vectors, visual runway 30 approach.
Okay. So we'll acknowledge descend to 3,400. Expect vectors to visual runway 30. There, Goose Bravo.
Descend and maintain 3,400 feet. Expect vectors, visual runway 30 approach, Denver, Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Okay, so we've got our altitude selector now at 3,400, which is what we've been told to descend to. Descending at 1,200 feet per minute. As I was saying, we're now 6 minutes from Ebbels.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
So not 3,400 anymore, now 4,000. Sounds like they thought better of it because of the terrain, maybe. Down to 4,000 there, Whiskey Bravo. Anyway,
Whiskey Bravo.
I keep trying to talk and I keep getting interrupted, but bottom line is we are now 5 minutes 50 seconds from Ebels, and we're descending now at 1,000 feet per minute. Do the math. 6 minutes times 1,000 is 6,000 feet. We're at 11,500 feet. Minus 6,000 puts us at 5,500 feet. And then we see...
Air Tree Whiskey Bravo descent and maintain 3,400 feet.
Okay. I'm glad you can hear the bugs with me, though. Down to 3,400
Descend
feet.
and maintain
Whiskey Bravo.
3,400 feet at Air Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Anyway, once we get to Ebels, we still have this portion to fly. At some point, because we were cleared for the visual, we'll make a right turn. Just kind of, actually very similar to our approach into Santa Barbara. A right turn, probably to a heading of 030, which is 90 degrees off of the heading that we want to turn. So that would be our left base, 030, and then turn left again to 300. But I'll keep an eye on it.
Air Tree Whiskey Bravo, contact Seattle Center on 124.85.
2485 here, which is probably the thing.
124.85 Air Tree Whiskey Bravo.
We'll contact Seattle Center here. Seattle Center, this is Derek Whiskey Bravo with you at 10,100 for
Seattle
3,400.
Center, November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo is at 10,200 feet, descending 3,400 feet.
Anyway, looking good right now. See what they tell us.
November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo, Seattle Center. Continue as planned. Altimeter 29.90.
2990 remains unchanged. Anyway, it looks like we actually may have to deal with some cloud cover. We're still IFR clearance, but it's a visual approach, which is interesting. Our minimums, actually, why don't we go ahead and enter those while we're thinking about it. Minimums for this airport, barometric minimums are 760 feet. The airport is at sea level, so bottom line, what that means is if we can't see the airport at 760 feet, then we need to try again or do another airport, divert to another airport. If we have to divert on this flight, we'll probably divert to Arcata, again, just north. It has an ILS approach that we could use if we need to. And headwinds finally died down a little, down to 16 knots, kind of from this direction. It was just straight at us, 55 knots straight at us. Noticing the winds are coming out of the northeast. That might result in us landing with a tailwind. Showing us just 9 minutes and 20 seconds now. These Cascade mountain range is so beautiful. Runs from northern California up through Oregon and Washington into British Columbia. Not nearly as foreboding or what's the word? Formidable as the Rocky Mountain range, but just as beautiful nonetheless. Chop seems to have died down a little, but the winds are still now out of the looks to me like the east-northeast. I can actually modify my display here to actually tell me the direction it's coming from. It's from 045 degrees. That's northeast. Keep that on for now. It's hard to see, but I think I'll keep it for this approach. Okay, so we're about to make a right turn now, just 8 minutes from the airport. Still descending to 3,400. Since the airport's at sea level, we want to be at about 3,000 feet, 10 miles out. Right now we're 27 miles from the airport. So the plan here is, well, I'm going to tentatively, this is my plan, is to descend, or when we get to Ebels, 3,400 feet, we'll make a right turn to 030. But the more I'm looking at the weather, the more I'm actually second guessing that and thinking maybe we ought to approach. Look at that, it's really moving. East, northeast now. I'm thinking maybe we ought to land on runway 12 instead of runway 30. I don't want to land with a 8-knot tailwind. I really don't. Look at that. God, that's so pretty. All right, here's that right turn I mentioned. The airport is straight ahead of us. I am thinking, based on what I'm seeing as the prevailing winds, that we're going to actually approach off the water to runway 12. And why don't we go and request another approach based on those winds? Request visual runway 12. Visual runway 12. Request approach from controller.
Delta Tree Whiskey Bravo would like visual runway ONE2 approach.
Yeah, I think we need to land at runway 12.
Delta Tree Whiskey Bravo, you are 22 miles south. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors visual runway ONE2 approach.
ONE.
Circle to land runway 30.
ONE2, that's funny. I always find that instruction a little confusing. Circle to land runway 30.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors visual runway ONE2 approach.
Well, the good news is
runway 30.
I've got a plate.
Delta Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Even if it's not in the sim, I've got a plate for an RNAV GPS approach to runway 12. And that is very useful because it tells me, I'm looking at the, I don't know if the waypoints are here in the sim, but I have them in real life. Sevley. I'm looking for Waverly or Scuppy. Let's see it. Well, that's ACV. What am I doing? Now, they should be out here somewhere. They are in real life. I see them. I'm looking at them. Scuppy and Waverly. Anybody see Scuppy and Waverly? No. All right. Well, hey, we don't call it the ongoing adventures of Dara through Whiskey Bravo for nothing. In the clouds now at 3,400 feet. There's an airport. Not our airport, but an airport. Airspeed's good right now, 160. Wow, so pretty. Fortuna, town of Fortuna. That airport was Ronerville, KFOT, Kilo Foxtrot Oscar Tango. That's the Eel River. Eel River, right there. Okay, anyway, we're looking good. Just 13 miles now from the airport, which I intend to overfly. In theory, let me check that plate again. Just looking at the missed approach. Actually, when you have a missed approach at this airport, you're supposed to turn right. So actually what we're going to do is we're not going to overfly the airport. We're going to turn left before we get there and basically reenact a missed approach. I think that'll work quite well. So we'll go ahead and turn left now. We'll switch over to heading bug, sync our heading first, then activate heading bug, and turn left to 300, our original runway heading. Level at 3,400 feet right now. You see what we're doing? This is the runway. Originally we were going to go like this, right? Well, now we're going to go like this. Yeah, the published misapproach plate for runway 12 would have you trying to land, something goes wrong, you have to, excuse me, this airport, not that's Arcata. You're landing here, something goes wrong, you go like that, which is what we're doing now. So that works for me. Things looking good right now. Our airspeed up a little more than that. Not bad though, 160 knots. We are parallel to our landing runway. We're landing here, going that way to go like that. Hope that makes sense. Gorgeous morning. Gorgeous Sunday morning up here in Eureka. This area right here is the Humboldt Bay National Wildlife Refuge. Really pretty area, as you can see. Airport's right out there. See it or not, it's somewhere out there. Kind of lost in the clouds. But that's Eureka. Okay, so looking good right now. I don't know if ATC is going to stop talking to us. So I'm going to actually cancel IFR at this point.
Seattle Center, Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo. Cancel IFR at this time.
They'll give us a squawk code.
Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk NE200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
Alright. Heading out over the beach, which technically we should be able to see since we're VFR. I can see it. I can see it enough anyway. I'll take it. There we go. See, we're totally VFR. Look at the waves. They may not be moving, but they look like they are. Alright, so there's the airport right there. Zoom in a little bit actually on this. We're just going to go like that. That's simple. Go ahead and take us down to 3,000 feet. And throttle back. Send at 700 feet per minute. Slow us down now a little. An overwater approach, there's really no reason to hurry. Actually, this is a really nice VFR day. It's funny, I didn't... Oh, there's the airport. There it is. We're going to come in like this. Anyway, I didn't expect it to be so pretty. Actually, set our altitude selector now at... Let's go ahead and go down to 2,000 feet. Don't really need a long final on this one. Send it 700 feet per minute. We'll lose 1,000 feet in probably about a minute and 20 seconds. There's no tower, but there is CTAF Unicom. We'll select a runway for landing, runway 12, and announce a full stop landing, which is the plan. And we'll announce our...
Kilo Echo Kilo
It's doing it
Alpha
automatically.
traffic, November 34 Tree Whiskey Bravo is on final runway ON2
No.
to land.
I'm not on final, shitwit. We're on our downwind leg.
Kilo Echo Kilo Alpha traffic, Docker November 34 Tree Whiskey Bravo is on downwind runway ONE2.
Okay, so we're just about to turn right to base. And let's go ahead and slow us down a little bit more before we commit. And we'll make that right turn up to 030, which is the base. The setting on the heading bug for our base turn. And we're going to keep turning. Go ahead and announce base. Now we'll turn again to runway heading of 120. Whoops. Jesus. Come on, mouse wheel. God damn it. And now we'll announce final. Actually, turned pretty steep there. We should don't want to be undershoot the runway. Keep an eye on that airspeed. But it's looking good. Activate our inertial separator. We'll come through that on our checklist here momentarily anyway, but turn left a little bit more actually. It's a little too aggressive in that right turn to base, and we'll announce that we're on final now. Continue our descent down to 1,500 feet.
Bravo is on final runway ONE2 to land.
Airspeeds could stand to go up a little. Really did make that base turn a little too aggressively. That was my bad. Knowledge master caution. I expect we'll see the airport here. We're just still 9 miles. I mean, we're really low actually. But again, this is one of the nice parts about an over water approach and landing is that you kind of get set up. For landing. Looking pretty good right now, though. Looking for the airfield. Looking for the airfield. Alright, it's okay. Let's keep an eye on our airspeed. 1,500 feet. Showing just 3 minutes, 26 seconds. 7 miles. 7.1 nautical miles. KEKA. Still looking. Still looking. There really is no substitute for familiarity with an area. Fly in over this. Do I see something? All right. Well, I mean, we're not that far. We're only 5.7 nautical miles from the airport, so we're going to see something here soon. It might be, actually, it might be in this little valley. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more gas. Might be in this little valley right here. That might be why we can't see it. It's behind this little swale. Put our gear down. Confirm 3 in the green. Left, right, nose. The irony is that the winds have shifted. That's funny. But we're good. I mean, everything's fine in terms of our position. Let's do a notch of flaps. Make sure our landing lights are on. Get our feet on the pedals. I do believe it's right behind this. I don't know why I believe that. I'm just thinking out loud. Airspeed's good, 106 knots. We'll make our right turn. There's the airfield, right there. I got it. Alright, autopilot's disengaged, full flaps. Man, that was tricky. That was really tricky. Oh my god, that is the shortest runway I've ever seen in my life. Gotta trim this damned run. This stick is really fighting me. Okay, we're trimmed now. Gear, inertial separator, flaps, fuel, lights, and yaw damper. Let's disengage the yaw damper. There we go. There it is. Nicely lined up. 1 mile final. I got 2 whites on the Vasi. 85 knots, perfect. Got red over white now. Nice. That actually ended up working out really well. 500 AGL, right, just 500 feet over the water. .88 knots. Red over white on the Vasi, perfect on the glide slope. But this is a very short runway, so I want to try to stick it on the piano keys. I'd rather be a little lower than higher. There's no mountains for us to worry about, and we don't have a lot of room to work with in terms of runway length, so we're not going to float on this one, okay? Apologies in advance if it's a little rough. There's the parking off to the right. Landing with there's almost no wind, 2 knots, so ended up not being a huge deal. All right, let's get this baby on the ground. I'm going to try to stick it earlier than usual. Idle. And flare. Damn, that was beautiful. Reverse thrusters. I mean, I don't want to brag, but that was a pretty slick landing, if I do say so myself. Turn right here. That was fun. That was great. It really is funny how you can feel apprehension from something like this. You know, there's no shooting, there's no zombies, and yet it's tense, especially at an airport you've never landed at before. I don't know, somehow the inspiration struck me, some force of goodness got it into my head today that we should land at Eureka, and I'm glad we did. It was a nice hour flight. Actually, I do show us about an hour and about 65 minutes. Added a little bit to our flight time because of the damned headwind. Okay, let's now it's clear of runway.
Kilo Echo Kilo Alpha traffic, Doppler November 34 Whiskey Bravo is clear of the runway.
That was great. That was really great. Landing at a tiny little airport like that. And then I'm sorry, I don't like braggarts, but that was a pretty slick landing, you gotta be honest. I mean, there was no bounce. I thought we might have to really plant it to get on the ground. You saw that runway is 3,000 feet long. If it's not, you're going in a plane like this, you're going 85 knots. There's not a lot of room to float. So you got to get it on the ground, and we did. I'm gonna have to re-examine that, but it looked pretty good to me. Okay, so we'll make our left turn here. I'm not gonna have Gary. But there's plenty of places to park. God, right on the water here. That's so cool. I'm gonna go ahead and head over to these guys and park next to them. Beautiful day up here, man. Jeez. Oh, I was trying to turn my strobes off. I mean, my pulse lights off. Sorry. Park next to this Cessna right here. All right. There's a fuel stop. Good to know. Gas up if we need to. That's that. Parking brake on.
Aural warning, okay.
Fuel or throttle control cut. Fuel selector off. Turn off our remaining lights and settings. Depressurize. Oh, that was great. That was a really fun flight up from Half Moon Bay up here to Eureka. Here we are on the MFD map. That's us. Just landed this way. That was kind of an adventure trying to find the airport there. It was you really need to keep your head on a swivel. But anyway, let's go outside. Oh boy. Well, that's not implausible. That's a comfortable distance between wingtips. Listen to the birds. That's so cool. Boy, there's a lot of cars in Eureka. Who knew it was so busy? Anyway, here we are, parked perfectly. Maybe a little closer than I should have been to this guy, but fuck him. He's in a Cessna and I'm in a TBM. I'm only kidding. That's a joke. All right, that's it for now. Safe flight up here to Eureka. Not sure where we're going next. Maybe north, Oregon, Washington, BC, maybe back to Alaska, maybe east, Montana, Wyoming, maybe back to Minnesota, maybe southeast down to Sedona. I don't know. The world's your oyster. That's it.